Granted, rising kings and queens, it's been a long time. I should say I shouldn't have left you, but it has been so refreshing to take this absence off of YouTube for the period of time that I have. And for those of you who have stayed subscribed over this time that I have been relaxing, chillaxing, I appreciate you. So I hope that this video finds you well. I've come to check in with you. It is November 2021, and this year has been crazy for so many of us. The past 2 years have been so crazy for so many of us with the current condition and climate of the world. So I hope that you all have been staying safe. You have been staying sane, as balanced and as grounded as you can be. I have still been working, doing God's work here on this earth. I've been still doing one-on-one sessions. I have still been communing. I've still been also finding my way on the journey. For those of you that have been with me for the long haul, you know, I initiated as a priestess in Santeria in April of 2019. And one of the biggest things that I was coming into the realization of after going through my initiation, although I was stepping into this place of becoming an elder and a priestess and beginning the journey of that, I was also coming into a rebirth of myself. And so I really feel the past 2 years, although so many people have grown to know me as the Trap Witch, I have been coming into a remembrance of Tatiana. So for those of you who don't know my name, who have been on this channel for the long ride with me, Tatiana, I've been coming into the remembrance of Tatiana. Tatiana has been remembering her inner child. She has been remembering what it feels like to love, not even just romantically, but platonically. I give so much thanks to my partner, who came into my life on, you know, crazy leap day, the leap day of 2020, February 29th, as we were going into February 29th, 2020, we met. And, you know, it's in a moment, it's just going to be 2 years and time flies. So I've been enjoying finding out what Tatiana likes again, what Tatiana needs in her personal life and also in her professional life. And this break from YouTube has been totally something that I needed. So again, I appreciate those of you who still follow on Instagram, those of you who still, you know, comment, chime in, send messages, those of you who have communed with me in private, one-on-one sessions, and including me on your journey. I really fuck with y'all the long way. And yeah, so I just wanted to tap in and update you. Yeah, your girl had the vidco in September. I thought I was coming down with a head cold in September. It turns out I had the vidco. And it wasn't too bad for me. I have a pretty good immune system. I was down for about 2 weeks, and it was beautiful just to rest and to take time to be within myself. I wasn't putting too much emphasis on productivity, nor the outside world. I just, you know, was connecting with nature and connecting with myself, sleeping, laying on the ground outside in the sun, in the grass, letting Mother Nature hold me. And that's exactly what I needed. Good food, although I couldn't taste or smell it, good company, and just some rest and deep communion with nature. So that's come and gone for me. I gave, you know, I was the first one to get it in my household. I gave it to the whole household. And so, yeah, we cruised through that, and it was just such a good time to even just commune together and take care of each other. And that's what it was really about for us in our house. So with that being said, I have some new offerings. I launched my Patreon this past weekend. My Patreon's been sitting for 2 years without me posting anything to it, but this was the week. Scorpio season is definitely a rebirth for me. I launched my first workshop, independent workshop, on the new moon in Scorpio. It was called Into the Void. And I'm actually going to be posting a replay via my website. So I'm going to actually I'll include the link under this video title to that video replay if you would like to purchase it. I'm planning my next workshop, which is going to be November 19th. I'm going to be posting about that. So stay tuned on my Instagram for that as well. I'm moving into just more group spaces. For those of you who don't know, like, one of the first things I said in my workshop is that your girl still has a lot of social anxiety. She has adult ADHD. She has fucking imposter syndrome at times. And I think what people don't realize is just because you do work with the public and present yourself to the public, that's still not scary, that we still, even at times, people who have been in the work for a while still don't have the tendency to avoid moving forward or procrastinate about it. And I told the people in my workshop, like, for the whole of 2021, I procrastinated about doing workshops. Spirit gave me the messages from the beginning of the year to do these workshops, and I'm just like twiddling my thumbs. And, you know, I sat with an elder of Oshun recently, and like, he had a direct hotline to Oshun because he sat in front of me. He's like, why aren't you doing these groups yet? Why aren't you doing these classes? Like, it's time. You're ready. Like, what the fuck? And, you know, at times, I think that we know we have to, but to move ourselves is still a task. And so what I realize is like, why should it be so, why is there so much resistance, right? And I'm always so transparent about even some of my own personal struggles, because I don't think a lot of people are transparent enough who are leaders. And it's like, how can we encourage people from the most integral place if we're not being honest about the humanness of the journey? And I, although, you know, consider myself a spiritual leader and teacher, it's like, I still don't want to be separated from my humanness, because that is also a part of the blessing of my journey. Each of us are allowed, as we are spiritual beings having this human experience, to embrace that humanness. And that's something I'm coming into that deep remembrance of, is like, I'm extremely human, with lots of feelings, lots of emotions. I've been so empathetic and so emotional this year, not in a negative way, but just so feeling of myself, feeling of the world, feeling of other people. And I love having a spectrum of emotions. I think that although we come into our spiritual growth and spiritual maturity, and we learn better not to allow things to take us to extremes of off of our center, meaning like, we don't have to go to low lows and we don't have to go to high highs, but at the same time, like, we are allowed to experience fear. We are allowed to experience sadness. We are allowed to experience depression. And this is a lot of the things that I also spoke about in my workshop. So if this is, you know, this is something that you're dealing with still, like, tap into that workshop replay and get you some of that medicine, because it's like, I tell people, it's like, we are allowed, just because you are on a spiritual journey and you're evolving, doesn't mean you're still not going to have very human emotions that come to visit you from time to time. It's just, again, you're not going to allow them at times to take you further off your set point. So I've been feeling all the feels, and I've been enjoying it. And I've been loving just getting back into my humanness, just like in everyday joys, whether it's film, whether it's food, whether it's travel, just very, you know, necessary things that we need to balance ourselves out. I've been enjoying all of that. But now it's time to get a little bit back more on track for me and start sharing these offerings that I know that Spirit is telling me that I should. So my Patreon is patreon.com/thetrapwitch. It is $25 a month. I know sometimes people will say, Trapwitch, I don't feel like I can afford a session with you. I'm never pressuring anyone to book a session. I understand accessibility. When the investment, you know, shows up or the funds appear for people, by all means. With that being said, for the past year, I've been dealing with a tremendous amount of spam pages and scammer pages that have been imitating my likeness. I only have one page. I've repeated it numerous times. The only page I have on Instagram is The Trap Witch. So with that being said, I will never DM you. I will soliciting, you know, services from you. I'm a, you know, an established full-time spiritual worker. I've been doing this for 5 years, especially one-on-one sessions. I've been doing them for 5 years. And yeah, we're good over here. We don't have to slide into people's DMs and they're asking people for random amounts of money, you know, $40, $30, $50. All of my rates, all of my sessions are always available via thetrapwitch.com, and they're pretty consistent and they're going to stay consistent, you know, to the value of which I know that they are worth. So it's never going to be me desperate sliding into someone's DM because we over here busy doing shit. We don't have time to like message thousands of people sliding into their DMs. So I've started my Patreon, patreon.com/thetrapwitch, and it's $25 a month, and I'm going to be giving a bunch of stuff on there: meditations, journal prompts, just, you know, videos, exclusive content, and deeper space, deeper expansion, deeper sharing, just because I just feel like Instagram has become so saturated. And although I would like to continue to grow on there, there's just certain spaces I want to explore with quality people, with quality subscribers, quality people who are really serious about going on their journey. And, you know, sometimes it's hard being this person who people just think sometimes like we just do this shit for fun. You know, so I had someone recently announce that they were unfollowing. They're like, hey girl, this is where my journey stops with you. And it's just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I wanted to say it to the person, but it's just like, I don't give a fuck. There's so many people that are out here that are just milking spiritual workers and milking people for free and for what they think they're worth. And it's like, you don't have to announce that you're leaving. If I have taken you thus far, cool. And if you're not in agreement with where I'm at now or where I'm going, cool. I wish you the best of luck, you know, Godspeed, travel in mercy and grace. So yeah, I am just ready for like real communing, deep intimacy, safe shared space, and really just going on those deep dives with people. I'm so ready for it. I've already uploaded a meditation that I did include in my new moon in Scorpio workshop. That's really good. I had a great response to it. It's 13 minutes long. It's on there already, and I've already uploaded one post, and I will be probably uploading another 2 pieces of content next week for people. So yeah, join that. For people who can't invest in sessions right now, it's a great offering, 25 bucks a month. You know, my workshop, I still am trying to make things, you know, very accessible for people who are needing things, and, you know, giving people options. So with that being said too, you know, I still wanted to drop you guys a message. Of course, I didn't come on here just to talk about that. I came to drop a message from spirit while we're here. Oh shit, hold on, there go my light. They like, and look, they already fucking with me because that's the message. Don't knock your own light. That is the message. That is the message. Scorpio season, like Scorpio season. I know that so many of you need to hear not to dim and not to hide your light. I think that so many times on the journey, we are impatient with ourselves as we are blooming, as we are blossoming, as we are coming into our efflorescence, as we're going through our process. And it's like really easy to fucking give up. It's like that song, you know, This Little Light of Mine. It's like, hide it under a bushel, no. And like, that's the fucking message, man. Like, that's the message right now, like for this season. A lot of you are going through these deep feelings that, although there are passions that you have and fire that you want to share, you still feel conflicted because of, you know, the past, because of what you've gone through. Especially a lot of people with like inner child issues. Like, your gut is telling you that there's shit you gotta do, but your inner child probably has some trauma, definitely has, you know, some wounds from the past. And a lot of times because of this, like, we want to share ourselves. We want to share our true authentic selves. We want to be ourselves. We want to feel safe in that. But at the same time, we are in such conflict. We are in such conflict because it's like, oh, what does it feel like to step into my shine? What does it feel like to call attention to myself? What does it feel like to boost myself up? What does it feel like to hype myself up? What does it feel like to pipe myself up? What does that feel like? And the truth of the matter is, so many of us are so used to talking to ourselves like shit, whether it's in our head, whether it's out loud, because I don't know about you, people talk to themselves and people talk to themselves bad sometimes, you know, and I've talked to myself. They say it's the, you know, sign of insanity at times, but at the same time, it's like you're also your best counsel, you know, so you got to have a meeting with yourself. But that's the thing. It's time for a meeting with yourself. It is time for the death of your old you and again, the birthing of a new you. And it's definitely Scorpio season, and it's time for death. It's time for burials. It's time to bury. It's time to bury the basic bitch that's holding you back within yourself. It's time to bury the victimized version of yourself that is holding you back. It is time for you to bury the bad mouth, bad-minded, insecure ass version of yourself that's holding you back. And the truth is, it's like, it's okay to be insecure. There's tons of us who are fucking insecure. I can sit here and I can say transparently, your girl at times is still fucking insecure. And guess what? There's always going to be something that comes up in life to potentially fuck with your security, especially within yourself. You know, the past couple of months, like Mercury retrograde this time, honey, I thought I was doing good. And then I had a few things that came up to test me. I remember I decided to make a post, and essentially the post said, know that people will always be a weapon. People will always be a weapon to test your confidence. That's why you have to have heart-to-heart conversations with God. constantly about who the fuck you are and your purpose, because that's the only way you are going to stay consistent to your journey, to your path, to your purpose, and to your being. And in my heart, I knew when I hashtagged that bitch Godfidence that I had this feeling, and maybe I was projecting my fear. I was like, I'm gonna have somebody come fuck with me. And I ended up having a whole all-out war a little bit with, you know, these people who were New Age turned Christian people who, like, God, they were worse than like just the straight up regular Christians. And, you know, I think sometimes when I do things, like, people will be like, oh, Trap, like, you don't have to do that, save your energy. It's like, nah, I trust myself. And, you know, there were a few people that were like, yeah, I can't get down with how you're dealing with this. But I'm just like, at the same time, it's like, I trust myself and I trust who I am. And just as I am an evolving, constantly evolving spiritual being, I am with the shits. Like, I'm with the shits, from a place of righteous anger, from a place of sometimes dealing with that conflict head on in order to also share a teachable moment. So not only that scenario, I had another scenario come up where your girl had to get with the law because I had somebody who was just thinking that they could intimidate me and harass me and punk me when I've worked so hard. I've worked so hard to build my brand and to build who the fuck I am. So, you know, there's these things that come to challenge you and to make you feel insecure and to hide yourself under a bush and to dim your light. And it was almost, you know, it was that conflict that put the fire under me. And so there's a part of us that can sit back and victimize ourselves, but there's also a part that when victimization comes to visit us, we can say, I can respond to this differently. I don't have to internalize victimization. I can say, okay, I see what this is presenting and where it makes me feel unsafe, but at the same time, is the alarm going off around me feeling unsafe now of invitation to invite me to more greatness, invite me to more fire, invite me to more passion, invite me to more fucking greatness? Like, probably yes. Probably yes. And, you know, there's so many people that think that they have to be something perfect. They have to be something, what's the word? Completely put together, polished in order to show up and shine in this world. But it's like, fuck, like in your ruggedness, in your imperfection, in your, and just your wholeness, you like, why tear yourself apart and why put yourself into pieces? Like, yes, constructive criticism is something we all need in order to continuously grow. But at some point you have to ask yourself, when the critic in your head or the narratives that you have playing over and over that are other people's voices, like, your guts gotta be telling you, like, that's just not fucking true. Like, you really have to sit down and talk to yourself sometimes. And when you hear shit that the voices in your head, whether it's the version of you that's a punk ass bitch talking to you, trying to put you down, or these lower energies, you know, that are floating around in the astral realm, or it's like other people or whatever, you really have to have a conversation with yourself and be like, is that fucking true? And sometimes the only reason why you believe that shit is because you are allowing the perception of yourself that's very negative to be internalized and then become your reality. And before you know it, you are insecure and you are self-destructive and you are self-sabotaging. And your inner child's really fucking annoyed with that shit. Really fucking annoyed with that shit. Really fucking annoyed with that shit. You know, there is so many people on this earth right now that are waiting for you to just show up as the real you, even from where you're at right now. Like, from where you're at right now, like, so many times people are like, oh, I can't commune with people, or I can't connect with people until I'm this kind of way. It's like, sometimes if you waiting to be ready, you ain't never gonna be ready. One of the biggest things right now is for people to stop creating imbalance, especially in their head, about themselves and how they shine. You know, look, you got a sparkle right now. Even if you start off as a little glimmer, a little sparkle, you got to find that light. You have got to find that light within yourself this Scorpio season. You know, you have to continue to walk towards it within yourself. You have to continue to walk towards the light in the world. You have to continue to walk towards the beauty in the world. And I understand that the world feels like it's in a fucked up state. But you have to continue to walk towards the beauty that's here. Towards the light. Towards the warmth. You know? It's like the Kanye song, you know? What does it say? It can't always be night. Like, it can't. But in life, that is the duality of our experience. The duality of our experience is to experience the darkness and the light. And in going into the voids and going into the dark spaces, we find our light. You know, again, my workshop on the new moon in Scorpio was called Into the Void. Why was it called Into the Void? Because it's time to go into the darkness. Go into the darkness. Dive into it. Confront it. You know, have a fucking coffee and tea with it. Have a cake with it. You know, but you got to stop being scary about it. Shadow work is one of the most powerful, potent things we will ever do on the spiritual journey. And if you're avoiding that shit, it's going to be hard to find that light. I don't believe in toxic positivity. I don't believe in spiritual bypassing. You can say all the fucking affirmations you want. You can light all the candles you want. You can do all that shit. You can pray, but until you really start taking action-oriented steps towards being and embodiment, it's going to be hard. And so that's why even sometimes, even when we are not feeling the most confident, we can still fake it till we make it. Because as we are sometimes showing up the best that we can, and even if it is a little bit, oh my God, then, okay, before you know it, you're showing up again and again and again. And that practice is becoming what's practical to you. And I tell people all the time, there are times when I have so much anxiety, you know, hitting live or coming into a group or whatever, but it's like, the more we show up and do that shit while we scared, that shit is going to become successful. There are so many things that are going to scare you that before you know it, you're going to be successful. You're like, damn, that was some scary shit before, and now I'm feeling so successful. But here in Scorpio season, I don't know if y'all have been feeling that Kali Ma energy, but I've been feeling that Kali Ma energy, you know, and, you know, it's destruction season in a good way, like destroying the parts of ourselves and doing renovation so we can preserve the good shit and continue to create from it. You know, I pulled you guys a page from my Joyce Meyer Confident Woman devotional, and it says, be yourself. So the scripture that is shared is 1 Corinthians 15:10. But by the grace of God, I am what I am, and God's grace towards me was not in vain. But I labored more abundantly than they all. Yet not I, but the grace of God which was with me. It says, a person without confidence is like an airplane sitting on a runway with empty fuel tanks. The plane has the ability to fly, but without some fuel, it's not getting off the ground. Confidence is our fuel. Our confidence, our belief that we can succeed, gets us started and helps us finish every challenge we tackle in life. Without confidence, a woman will live in fear and never feel fulfilled. Confidence allows us to face life with our boldness, openness, and honesty. It enables us to live without worry and to feel safe. It enables us to live authentically. We don't have to pretend to be somebody we're not, because we are secure in who we are, even if we're different from those around us. Let's reread that, because I kind of fucked up a little bit. We don't have to pretend to be somebody we're not, because we are secure in who we are, even if we're different from those around us. I firmly believe that confidence gives us permission to be different, to be unique. God has created every person in a unique way, yet most people spend their lives trying to be like someone else and feeling miserable as a result. Trust me on this, God will never help you become some other person. God wants you to be you. God, I want to be able to say confidently that by your grace, I am what I am. I confess that your grace has never been in vain in my life, and I ask you for more grace. Amen. Your light is yours. Your light as an individual is unique. There will never be another you. There's somebody waiting for you. There's somebody waiting for you to get your confidence up, to get that shit together, to stop putting yourself down, or even be honest about it. You know, just being honest about it. Sometimes confidence, like again, is being honest and transparent, even about the negative things. There's so many times I've shared fucking shit along my journey because it is my duty. It is my duty to share my mutative process with people so that they have the inspiration to go through theirs. It's like, yeah, again, life at times can feel shitty, but it can't always fucking be night. It can't always be dark. Like, this is why there is night and day. There's darkness and light. There's duality. But we have to know how to use the shadows. We have to know how to use the dark. And even in this season where a lot of us are going through the burial of the old us, we have to give thanks to how that version of ourselves was used in order to birth the new person that's coming forward constantly. You know, when we think about our ancestors and we think about how from one person came another person, came another person, came another person, you know, we have to still thank those that came before us for however which way they were used in order for us to be born, to be birthed, and whether, you know, whatever their lessons are, we still have to thank them. We have to thank them for their birth and for their death. And it's the same thing now as so many of us are going through the fire. We're going through purification. We are going through the fire, which is a birth via fire. So many of us feel like there's heat, there's pressure on us, and it's, you know, purification by fire, right? And from the ashes, from those ashes, from the purification will come the phoenix. And some of y'all are about to come up fucking guns blazing from the fire this coming season because you've had enough of your own fucking shit. You've had enough of your fucking getting down on yourself, talking bad on yourself, being sad for yourself, being depressed with yourself. And here's the thing. Again, I talk about this in my workshops. If you want this replay, like, depression through our whole life can come to visit us constantly. Okay? It's okay if these feelings come to visit us, but we have to know why they are coming to lower our spirits. You know, depression is just like often the presence of lower spirits, whether it's in with yourself, around you, But yeah, it's just the presence of a lower spirit. And we can heighten our spirit. We can enlarge our spirit. We can expand our spirit. We can feed our spirit. And we can feel full again. But sometimes when depression comes to visit us, if we're feeling empty, we have to know how to fill ourselves back up. If we're feeling deflated, we got to pump that shit back up. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. Like, so I was not trying to show y'all my bum nail, but whatever. My nail broke off before I came on. There's a transparency right there. So, you know, let's pull one more thing. What do they need to know in closing? Pull the same damn page again. Never a need to dim, hide, or neglect your light. From Golden Guidance. Go get this book. My friend Jessica Burns' book. Golden Guidance on Instagram. Great affirmation book. Let's add one more thing because I pulled to the same page again. What can we add to this message? Returning all negative words and energy they carry back to sender. They are no longer welcome here. Again, whoever's trying to, you know, because honestly, look, like, I'm telling you, like, Scorpio season, and even the end of Mercury retrograde that we had, like, there's just some people really talking some shit in the streets and in the world. And if you were on the other end of that shit, like, it's easy to internalize some of it. It's easy to let it hold too much residency in your head, in your heart. You gotta dust that shit off, shake that shit off, honey. Like, nope. And again, just be really mindful through the end of the year how you talk to yourself, and the spells and the words and these, you know, things that you're casting about yourself out to the world, about your situations. Be really fucking intentional with words. It's funny that this feeling comes up too. My best friend today, she shared a quote with me that someone shared with her, and it was, taste your words before you, taste your words before you spit them out? Taste your words before you spit them out. Something like that. Yeah, words are potent. Even be mindful about how you communicate yourself amongst people. Again, I'm not saying to be fake. You have to be yourself, but be mindful of how you communicate yourself to others, how you talk about yourself in conversation, how you talk about others in conversation. Just be really mindful of the frequency of the energy of which you are speaking for the rest of the month. And again, there's so much beauty, there's so much positivity in the world, even though at times it doesn't feel like that. Find ways in your everyday conversations to bring beauty to them. Focus on beauty. Focus on the light. Focus on what you love. Focus on your passion. You know, focus on the things that you're building, that that you're becoming, the relationships that you want to create. All of those things. Focus on them in a way that you are speaking life over your life and into the community and into the atmosphere and into the universe. I tell you one thing, it is not the time not to shine. However you go about your day, it's not about whatever makeup you put on, whatever outfit you put on, how you wear your hair, whatever. We're talking about shining from the inside out this season, okay? Look, shining from the inside out, honey. Even if you got a blemish on your nose, in the middle of your fucking nose that's healing, still shine from the inside out. Share with people your light. Share with people your warmth. There's so many people waiting, anticipating you doing it. You don't know how. Just being you. And again, not the version of you that's raining on your fucking parade, your own fucking parade, the Debbie Downer version of you, the fucking version of you that's a fucking hater. Not that version, the real you. The one who believes in their abilities, in their beautiful qualities, in their beautiful traits. That one. Bro, someone is waiting for that one. But even if you're, again, even if you're honest about some of your hardships or your conflicts, when we are talking to people, we are talking from a, we're going to talk from a place of being mindful about what we're bringing to fruition. So when we are talking about the version of ourselves, we are talking about the version of ourselves that we are burying. We are talking about moving through that and moving towards the version of ourselves that's filled with so much fruition, that is so fruitful, that is so bountiful, that is so full. We are talking in a way not to cast spells over who we are becoming. So if your affirmations this month have to be, I'm becoming a bad motherfucker. I'm becoming a bad bitch. I'm like, you know, one of my hashtags today was rich witch energy. Like, and when I talk about rich, I'm not talking cash money. I'm talking about abundance of spirit, abundance of peace, abundance of love, abundance of, just sensuality, abundance of laughter. Like to me, that is real rich witch energy, okay? Rich bitch, rich witch, whatever the fuck you want to say, that shit, okay? So I'm missing that one too. And for those of you who have never noticed, I have real witch fingers. I was born with my fingers bent, so my partner always jokes about that. I'm a real witch because, you know, back in the day, 400 years ago, if you were not someone who got burnt by the church, were you even doing something? If they were trying to check me for the marks of the witch, I would have had all of them. So here we are embracing all of that. So I'm sending you guys so much love. I am not going to go on a tangent any further. If you happen to stumble on this video and you don't know who I am before and you stayed tuned and you listened, thank you for being here. Subscribe or follow on Instagram, The Trap Witch. If you're wanting a one-on-one session, thetrapwitch.com. Like I said, my new offering of Patreon is patreon.com/thetrapwitch. I'm going to be moving into some other things too as well, more workshops, and I just appreciate the people who have been here for the long haul, through the beginning, through when I was on the fucking porch with my Cafe Bustelo. And I know at times that people are like, I miss that version of the Trap Witch, but it's like, I can't even go back to her. Like, I love her so much and she has served me, but we're moving forward. We're moving forward. And so I appreciate y'all. You know, we still got the Bustelo pop in almost every morning. So when you drink your Bustelo, think of me. If you still want to tag me, you know, in anything that I post or I offer that it's inspire you and you drinking your Bustelo and your blunt, like, feel free. Tag me in that shit. I appreciate the support still. Whether I see it, whether I don't, I appreciate that shit so much. So many people have let me share space with them on the most intimate parts of their journey. And I've been with some people through like some major milestones. And I'm just so fucking grateful to be in communion with people in this way as we're like, you know, doing this thing called life. It just makes me so damn happy. So get your shine on this Scorpio season. Get your fucking shine on, you know? Be patient with yourself. You still growing, you still blooming, you still blossoming. But like that quote says, there's a quote that says, and the day came where it was too painful to remain in the bud. So bitch, bloom out. Bloom out then. Bloom out. Because right now, a lot of y'all are reaching that upper limit. You're reaching that, you know, going past your comfort zone. You like trying to hold yourself back. You're trying to minimize yourself. You're trying to play small. God said no. Spirit said no. It's time for the plane to take off the fucking runway. Some of y'all have been putting yourself on that tarmac for too fucking long. It's time to get your ass in the air and take flight, okay? Get that motherfucking ass in the air and take flight. I don't know about you. I just got my passport renewed. My ass is about to be in the air and taking flight. I'm trying to go places, do things, commune with people. And even from the beginning of last year, when Spirit told me to tell people to do that, and I'm like, bruh, I know that's going to sound crazy. They're telling people to stay home. Nah, Spirit told me that some of y'all need to move. Some of y'all need to be traveling. Some of y'all need to be doing what you need to do to go ahead before other people. So when people are ready to catch up, you're already 10 steps ahead, because some of us are laying down the fucking groundwork. We're doing our own personal work, whether it's in the state that we're at, the country we're at, or we're moving around. There's so many people right now making big sacrifices for who that they're becoming. And I'm so privileged at times to work with some of them. Some people, you don't realize, some people right now are risking and sacrificing being away from the comfort of their own home because of the things that they believe in. And they know they got to make moves in order to keep expanding for the people that they help. You know, there's some people making some uncomfortable ass moves, but they know it's for their growth, and they know that they're safe. They know that Spirit got them. And some of y'all watching right now, you need to hear that shit. You need to stop being scared. You need to get your ass up in the air, off the tarmac, off the runway. It's time to take flight. It's time to shine. It's time to get your motherfucking roll on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, get your motherfucking roll on. Big timers, right? So, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you. Man, we have 46 minutes. It never fails that I can still talk to myself for an hour. So I feel like I'm in I Am Legend. You ever watch like I Am Legend or Castaway? Like I could really sit here and I could just talk for an hour, but I'm talking to y'all. I love it. I love it. So, sending you all love. Thank you for your continued support. Please Instagram, share my shit, tag me in my shit, save my shit, comment my shit, do all that shit, please. I know that sometimes right now that the algorithm is kind of funky. I don't give light to that though, because whatever's for me is always gonna be fucking for me. But some people have been complaining that they're not seeing myself as much on the timeline. I encourage you to type my whole name in, to visit my page. The Trap Witch only page. You can go to your account settings and you can go down to sensitive content control and make sure that the allow button is on. And also too, again, checking back and checking in. So I appreciate you guys, and yeah, stay tuned. Happy Scorpio season.